So for the next month, we're going to be demoing this 480-8. So I'll be going out to all the demos in Sydney. It's a brand new machine. First one in Australia, this one right here. So we're just demoing it. So basically, you've got a 480-8 here and the WA480. So this is just a 6-ton lighter version of the 500. Let's get into it. So a bit of an upgrade from the Dash 6, the 480-6. It's got a 5.5 cube loose material bucket on the side. You can see the stock standard 500 bucket there. Auto grease system from factory, all built in. The other cool thing is that this one now has a payload meter built into the dash, just like the 500s. Not trade certified, so you still need to get your aftermarket one if you want to be selling out of this. So air conditioning filter outside and inside air. You've got auxiliary toolbox, another toolbox here. This is part of the brake axle cooling system, which goes from here up to the back there. So that's the brake axle cooling system. Checking your transmission oil in there, the dipstick. We've gone over that with other machines. Articulation point, lube chart if you need it. Articulation lockout bar right there. You swing that over, lock it out. You got the turbo pre-cleaner and also your air filter, and then your air filter indicator right there. Running scale. So as this fills up, it will slowly rise, and then you'll get an air filter plug-in warning in the dash when it's time to replace. Swing out guards gives you way better access. Swing out mud guard, liftable here. You can get really in here. Fold this down. Access the starter isolator. Left hand side engine bay. Pretty much over here, just looking for any oil leaks, hoses, clamps. Hose clamp. Check your intercoolers on this side. DPF system up here. Turbo. Just checking any protection, making sure there's no damage. On the back here, you got access to one of 2 batteries, one on each side. Tail lights, one of 3 e-stops, one there, and one inside the cab. Tail lights, reverse camera, lights, swing out fan with a hydraulic reversible option, so you can turn that on automatic or do a stationary fan reverse. Additional counterweight, just like the 500s, gives you a bit more extra load. Second battery with battery isolator. Alright, we're out in sight now. We can finish the video. So opening this up here, hitting that knob there, that'll pull that out. So that opens up to the side. Opening this up. This is your main access area for daily checks. Fuel filter sight glass, electric fuel pump, engine oil check, engine oil fill, cover that folds up, and Anderson plug jump start socket. So this is so you can jump start your machine. You just plug your plug in there and jump start away. And on the back here, access to your intercoolers. Diesel fuel fill up tank. If you're going to do quick fill, it's usually on the other side, but machine this size will just be normal nozzle. Hey, hydraulic oil just behind the cab there. Sight glass there. You got the fire extinguisher, auto greaser, and with the auto greaser, you can do a ground level fill. So that's to fill up your auto greaser. Coolant overflow bottle. So to get in there, I'll pop that open. And if you pop that open, that'll let a little light in, give you a bit better reading here to see what level it's at. And last fluid is your AdBlue tank. So AdBlue tank here, this is just a fill gauge. So essentially when you're filling it up, it's just so you don't overflow it. There's a digital gauge inside the cab that'll give you a more accurate reading of the machine. Wheel choke holder, and then back side of the bucket, got a compliance plate there. That's for the bucket. This is a Komatsu genuine bucket from Japan. So we're bringing these in with this style bucket. Cool feature about the bucket is that the spill board. So a real heavy duty spill board, getting everything off to the sides. So there's not a lot of spillage that should happen on the back side of your machine. So you can see that really oversized compared to your typical standard bucket. Should get everything out the side here. All right, let's check out the cab. All right, so as you can see here, joystick steering, bringing it in from factory to Australia with the joystick steering. You can bring the steering wheel in if you want, but it's another added extra and a different option. But your standard machine off the ship, you're coming with the joystick steer. Okay, once you're in the seat, right handle, bring that down, and then on the side here, you can slide that forward and back depending on how long your arms are. On the joystick, so if you want to go left, you pull it left. You want to go right, you go right. Directional selector, gear selector, and horn. Alright, on this side, you got your joysticks for your boom, so that'll lift up and down your boom, that'll kick down your gear, that'll hold. Typically, once you go joystick, you'll just be doing it over here, but if you want to use these buttons over here, you can use that. This is your bucket angle. These buttons aren't being used, but can be added on to something if you want to wire them up. Hydraulic lockout lever, so this locks out your hydraulics. Transmission cutoff pedal, so that'll turn it on, that'll set the position when you apply the brake. So in order to do that, you just turn this on. So I'll flick that down, you'll see the screen pop up. So that'll pop up there. I'll put my foot on the brake and press the button down, you'll hear it beep. That sets the position, it flashes like, alright, that's my new cutoff position level. We've got power and economy mode, spring loaded, so you just press it for power mode, and then you press it again and it'll go into economy. Manual gear shift, low automatic, high automatic, torque converter, electronically controlled stabilization system. This is to set your height, upper height, lower height, and your bucket angle. And this is your semi-auto dig and your emergency steering. On the dash, no steering wheel, a lot more room, a lot more comfort. You can see out the cab. Here we've got the auxiliary lights, we've got the beacon, hazards, auto greaser, spring loaded. So you just press that when you want to do a cycle. So if you're noticing that you need a bit more grease and the auto greaser just isn't doing it as much as you'd like, hit that button, it'll do a cycle. So if I press this right now, you'll see this start to spin. So you see that spinning? So that's saying, hey, I need more grease, it's going to do a cycle for you. This is for your nighttime, daytime settings. So when your lights are on, that dims the screen or brightens it. High and low, window washer, wipers, washer fluid, blues the aircon, grates to go through the dash, park brake, and everyone's favorite, the turbo timer. Reverse camera, brightness adjuster, third e-stop, and then down the bottom here, drink cooler box, which the aircon will just circulate through that box. Okay, going into the screen, kind of hard with the sun. We got coolant temp, torque converter oil temp, hydraulic oil temp, fuel. You got your AdBlue gauge here, directional selector, gear selector, eco-friendly gauge, what you're in, kilometers, and engine hours. And then down here you've got anything that's green is lit up, that's what you got activated. So if I turn off the transmission cutoff on the bottom there, you'll see that'll disappear. If I change it to power mode, you'll see that pop up. If I turn the torque converter off, that'll come up there. So also if I go to manual or automatic, so you see auto, so that's auto, manual, high auto, right there. Going into the menu, first tab is just records of the machine, what it's doing, idling hours, fuel consumption. Next tab is where you can start adjusting stuff. So you've got E-Light mode or economy mode. Great for owner operators. You can really dial back your fuel consumption if you want to go in E-Light or economy mode, and then if you really need to dial it up, you can work it in power mode. Manual fan reverse mode, so stationary fan reverse, so park it up, you got a bit of stuff in your intercoolers, you can park it up and do a blowout. The other one is your automatic fan reverse, so you can come down here and you can set up different intervals depending on your environment. So your first one's mode A, which is 2 hours 1 minute. Mode B is 1 hour 1 minute, and then you've got half hour. Every half hour it'll run in reverse for 4 minutes, or every 1 minute of operation will go in reverse for 30 seconds. So really good option. Adjust it depending on your environment and depending on how your machine's running. We've gone over the bucket level selection. This is just so you can set up 3 different levels of your bucket. Great for if you're trying to attack it, your pile or your face at different angles. You can really change the angle or the dramatic incline more than your 10-degree movement that you can do on the side panel. Auto kickdown settings, so this automatically kicks the gears down for you, only from 2 to 1. trip meter, auto idle stop timer settings. So you saw that pop up earlier. Any idling for 5 minutes, it'll automatically shut off unless you want to interrupt it. And then this is just your lockup on startup, lockup torque converter on startup. Got DPF setting, AdBlue setting, maintenance information, screen adjustments, and time adjustments. So we'll just go in here real quick. We'll just make sure that the time is right, which it isn't. So we'll just turn the daylight savings on. And I like 12 hour, so I'm going to change it to 12. And done. Now we're in 12 hour, 11:50 a.m. and that's it. So some of you might have seen my previous video on how to set your bucket levels. So you can essentially set a stopping height for the bottom, stopping height for the top. You can set your angle +5 or -5. You can also change your whole entire bucket angle level selection by going through the computer, but we're just going to go through the height selection. So imagine there's a line pretty much through the middle of the machine here. In order to do the stopping height for the bottom, just be below the line. In order to do the stopping height for the top, just be above the line. So right now, as a default, nothing's on. So if I rip the stick back, it's going to come all the way to the top, and it'll come to a nice easy stop. So that's all the way at the max height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back down off of that. I'm going to go right there. So that's going to be where I want it to stop now. So just press this button. You hear that button, you hear that noise, you'll see that, all right, we set the top position. Now when I come down, I'm going to set the lower position as well. So I'm going to come below the line, and right here, same button, but I'm below the line, press the same thing. So we're going to press it, and then you see the line pop up underneath right here. So now when I pull this back, it's going to stop at that height that I selected. Yep, and then when I push it down, it's going to stop at that height that I selected. The other one is your bucket angle. So right here is the bottom part of the switch. You press that in, it'll tell you what your angle of your bucket is. So all I have to do is rip it back or rip it forward just a bit. That'll change my bucket angle to -1, or just bring it back to 0. So we're at 0, hold that down. I've selected that height. Now I can go +or -5. So you can see right there. Now, if I go out of that parameter, so if I go a bit further past +or -5, I press the button, nothing's going to pop up. So if that happens, you're out of the working zone. So we'll go back to 0. And then we'll hold that down. That's set. Alright, so now we want to change the position, or we want to just get rid of it all entirely. So the first thing you need to do is raise it either below or above the line. So now we're going to do the bottom position. So we're going to press this button in here. We're going to hold it, and you hear a long beep, and now it's canceled the bottom position. Now we'll raise it up to the upper part. Okay. Once that comes to a stop, now we're in the upper position. Same button. Hold that down. Cancels out. And then now you're just back to normal. You don't have any stopping points set. Okay, today we are going to do a Bluetooth pairing with the Komatsu genuine radio from the factory. This took me a while to figure it out, so hopefully this can help you guys out in the future. So first things first is you need to see the display symbol. Hold that down. Hold that down. That'll pop up. And then we want to go up to pairing. Okay, pairing, hit enter. And then it'll ask you to push enter again. Push enter. Okay, and then now this will be discoverable on your phone. So search for the Bluetooth. It didn't ask me to put the key in, but if it does, then that's the passcode. Once you find it and you're connected, all good, just hit this return button. So this return button gets you back to the main menu. Now you're in the main menu. Now the hardest part that I had to figure out is how the hell do I play music from it? So when you make a phone call, it'll automatically go through that if you're connected. Your microphone's right here, and it's actually pretty good sound, way better than my Toyota. In order to change it to Bluetooth to play audio, hit this EXT right here. So that'll change it to Bluetooth audio, or if you've got an auxiliary line, you can plug it in there. AM, FM back here. So this is where you need to change it to Bluetooth audio. And then right here you've got your play and pause, up and down track, and your volume up. Hope this helps everyone.